House weekdays at 4 p.m. on MSNBC. Please welcome back to the show, Nicolle Wallace, everybody. Welcome back.
Well, I whispered, are we going to make it?
I don't know. We're going to be here no matter what. That's the important thing. This is actually very nice because we shoot our shows at the same time, so it's actually very hard to get you here.
Right.
And in fact, the last time you were here was a Zoom interview because it was back in COVID times, but it was on the January 6th. It was 2021 January 6th, and you were nice enough. We did our show live that night because it seemed like a moment that you could not guess at 4 in the afternoon what it would look like at 12:30. And I will say it did seem like a very scary time, and then a couple weeks later it seemed like the end of something that, of course, it has not been the end of.
Yeah, and I think I hate comparisons, but Trump sort of forces them on us, right? And so a moment of national tragedy where our leaders run for their lives. The only parallel for the Capitol was 9/11, where they thought that plane was coming and, of course, crashed because of the heroic actions in Pennsylvania. So to watch that unfold and to watch it on live TV, you thought it might be a moment that changed us, and it changed some of us. But to see the other side double down was disorienting. And I remember where I was sitting. I was sitting at my kitchen table, realizing that I only had a phone and didn't really know how to Zoom very well. But I remember thinking this could be the beginning of just something where people stopped the madness, and instead the madness went into overdrive.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody gave it 6 months and then said, no, I think we like the madness. And it was like a calm time. We're like, wasn't that night? And that feels so simple now. Kamala Harris is giving her closing. We're taping before her sort of, I guess, closing message. Yeah. Which she's doing from the Capitol.
Right.
And do you feel as though people will make that connection, that she will draw on that connection to where she is giving what will probably be a far more optimistic message than the one we heard from Donald Trump's
Better than the Madison Square Garden thing?
Yeah.
Yes. And I also think that us in the media, spend too much time worried about the people who won't, the people for whom that won't resonate. The truth is, the vast majority of people are moved to their last fiber by people like Harry Dunn and Officer Frenome, people who defended the Capitol from the supporters who threatened everybody. I mean, they were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." So they weren't trying to protect Democrats or Republicans. They were protecting everyone. And the vast majority of people honor what they went through that day, think it's a despicable way to try to steal an election, and will be moved. And those who aren't, that's for the country to sort of rumble with and reckon with at a later date. I think in the next 8 days, I love this part of campaigns because the pollsters are almost irrelevant. The pundits are completely irrelevant. And it's the voters. It's like your show. We're done. And the voters get to go out there and vote for whomever they want and not tell anyone if they don't want to. And I think it'll be a relief to see what judgment they render.
You've worked on campaigns before, Bush in 2004, McCain in 2008. Certainly, I think when you lived through those times, you felt like the parties were very different. And yet now you look back and you realize there was a lot more they agreed on, certainly about the values in this country. Are you shaken by what you see at Madison Square Garden, or have you just become immune to it?
No, I'm so mad that I can still be devastated.
Yeah,
right? Like
that's a good way of putting it.
I want to not be devastated anymore. And I'm devastated that people were cheering for that stuff. Just gutted, because I think it's really hard to hate up close. And I remember at the beginning of Twitter, I would tweet back at people, "Oh, you'd like me if you knew me," and not, how dumb am I? Like, most of them are Russian, but no, I mean, lots of people here hate me.
They're like, "I like to know you. Where we meet now."
I mean, it was a quainter time, right?
Yeah.
But I was never scared before an election night, ever.
Yeah.
I worked on campaigns because I believed in the people that I worked for, except the one that I didn't vote for. But I was never scared. And I think a lot of people in the pro-democracy. This is the first nonpartisan election in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe ever. And this is not a partisan election. I mean, Kamala Harris has run a stellar campaign, and she's spent time alongside the Cheneys. It's like a joke that you guys couldn't even make up 10 years ago, right? Like, I mean, and that's where we are. And I'm a proud, hawkish, pro-democracy person. But I think the Trump thing, like, voting for Hillary Clinton was very easy. Voting for Joe Biden was a pleasure. Voting for Kamala Harris feels like an emergency.
Yes, I think that's also a good way of putting it. You mentioned Liz Cheney. You know, obviously this is so, could not have predicted, right? That you would have a Cheney, especially, a conservative Cheney. She's not like, she hasn't broken away from the family.
Correct.
Yeah. And do you feel like this sways anyone?
Well, we'll find out on Tuesday.
I guess we
like,
will, right?
This is where I don't want. But I'll say this: I've talked to people who are out on the road covering it, and they said that as powerful as she is as a prosecutor of Donald Trump and his conduct on January 6th, she's even better as an advocate for Kamala Harris. And I think people are looking for what they're for. And Liz Cheney being pro-Kamala Harris and making the case for Liz Cheney making the case on abortion is sort of another plot twist, saying that even within the pro-life movement, they didn't want to see women die over this ideology sort of run amok, run to the extreme. And so to hear Liz Cheney make an argument, not just against Trump, but pro-Kamala, and then not just Kamala because she's for democracy, but Kamala because even abortion politics are too extreme.
It's interesting, like Democrats are very good at saying, oh, I think there was a misstep here, or I wish she'd done this slightly differently. And yet, then you look at Donald Trump, who just at some point gives up on a Q&A and has like a 39-minute dance party where he just sort of rocks back and forth.
Yeah,
and you realize it's so funny that you're like, I wish she'd phrased it differently. And meanwhile, he's just like, jamming out.
But like without the move. So here's having sort of left the Republican Party, I really see the difference in the DNA of the two parties. The Republicans are like, well, he zipped up and buttoned his pants. He's my guy.
Right.
And, with Harris, they're like, like 0.8 of the middle class tax cut. In year 7, I don't like it as much. And are you kidding? Like, at least you get to like decide who you want to be president in 4 years. Trump ends all that.
You showed the entire 39 minutes on your show.
I did.
Which I think, because again, I sometimes think, I saw clips. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then in my head, I'm like, and he did it for 39 minutes. That's crazy. But watching all 39 minutes in a row, you're like, this is super crazy. Like, what did you, over the course of those 39 minutes, did you come to any conclusions about the man that were fresh?
I hate the gaslighting of MAGA, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, if this man swaying for 39 minutes floats your boat, knock yourself out.
Yes.
But you're going to watch it. And I know from the people I used to try to win over on Twitter that they watch. And it was 39 minutes. And if you want to tell yourself that's okay, actually, I don't even think that they think it's okay. They think it's worth it for some deep rage that I think Michelle Obama tried to get at. But it isn't worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. What time do you start your live coverage, right? 6 p.m.? Is that about when you?
That sounds right.
Yeah, okay. They just tell you when to show up, yeah. I mean, it does seem like...
I kind of roll from one assignment to the next.
And it's close, right? I mean, this is... I mean, look, I think in 16, it caught everybody off guard.
Right.
And then in 20, it was also, I obviously ended up being a lot more drawn out than we thought. This one, I think, at least where everybody's, like, girded for the moment of, like, we're just not going to know anything.
So the best thing for democracy is for the polls to be absolutely correct and it to be very, very, very close.
Right.
But in 2022, everyone from Karl Rove to David Axelrod predicted a red wave, and it was like drop. Yeah. So, I really wish that voters would tune all that out. This is like your moment. This is the time for you to say, and I don't think you should sleep on what men will do in this election. I think it's, again, a shortcoming of how we cover reproductive rights to think that it's a woman's issue. Like the vast majority of couples or people that didn't plan to get. I mean, many times men are a partner in that, and
course.
so I think that isn't something. I don't think that's something guys talk about amongst themselves. I don't think they're gonna, ring, ring, ring. How you gonna? I don't think they're gonna tell a pollster. So I think the polls could be right. They might be. It might be tied. People should vote like it's tied, and the polls are all correct.
I'm happy. That's the one thing. I don't think anybody is going to stay home because they think it's all
Correct,
settled.
and
which is
that's
great.
good. And
Yeah.
that's good. But I won't be surprised if there's something different that we don't know going into it.
Well, it'll be fun. Well, fun. It'll be interesting. How about
It'll
this?
be-
I'll be watching.
It'll
thanks
be
for being
exciting.
back.
Thanks for everything you do.
Thanks, everybody. Deadline White House airs weekdays at 4 on MSNBC. You can also see her as part of MSNBC's election night coverage on November 5th at 6 p.m. I was right. We'll be right back with Betty Gilpin.